All right, Rick, thanks. Well, we're talking about helping overwhelmed moms and dads through the summer slump today. The experts say it can be a real challenge to balance everything, especially if you're dealing with a spirited child. Parenting advocate and author Kennedy Kline joins me now to share some advice. Tara, good morning.
Good morning, Eve. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming in. I know you have a great website, KennedyKline.com, very easy to remember, where moms and dads come all the time. It's a great forum to kind of vent and share some concerns.
Absolutely.
And I know you're hearing from them now because we're kind of in the heart of summer, which kids are loving, but moms and dads can be going a little nuts by now, right? What kind of things are you hearing?
I'm hearing the normal, you know, they won't get out of the house, there's nothing to do, they're bored.
Right.
I'm also hearing a lot of there's too much going on. You know, I have them in sports and we can't even take a vacation or whatever. So it's changed a little bit from what I'm used to hearing, but it's the same old, same old.
Yeah, and you say it is possible, you know, if parents are kind of pulling their hair out right now, it is possible to turn things around and really enjoy the second half of the summer. So we're going to talk a little bit about some tips and some common questions that you're asked this morning. And I know one of them, Tara, is some parents are saying summer break is about releasing the stress of school and homework. Shouldn't we just let our kids slack off and have fun?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And the big problem is, you know, teachers have control over their classroom for a very basic reason, because they have structure. So when we get our kids home for the summer and that structure goes away, our kids go bonkers. They don't know what to do. So they sleep till 11 o'clock and then they don't want to do anything and they're tired. The best thing to do is to maintain some kind of a schedule.
Okay.
So, you know, they should still have a time that you wake them up in the morning. They should still have a certain time to do things, and they should still have a bedtime, even if it is later.
Okay. And speaking of a schedule and kind of structuring some things, I know that you're a fan of having a written family agreement about rules, consequences, and rewards. Is that really necessary for every single family?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Kids are going to do what we ask them to do if they know why they're being asked to do it. So if you just assume that your kids are going to do things for the warm fuzzy of doing it for you, that's not going to happen and you're going to be disappointed.
Sorry, no.
Right. So if they know that certain rules are going to, or certain infractions are going to have certain consequences, then they can make a choice whether or not to do that thing. And that can work for teenagers too. Because if your teenager is making a choice to do something that they know there's a consequence tied to, that's room for a conversation to find out why they're so motivated to do it.
Okay, so that can be something, takes a little time, but worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
So how about the parents with TV-loving kids? Should you limit, of course we're a fan of 69 News, but should you limit viewing time in the summer?
Absolutely. Just like you would limit what your kids watch, you should limit how much they watch. And it can be just as easy as saying between this time and this time every day there's no screens, period. I mean, that can go for games, computers, TVs, everything. Give them an opportunity to find something interesting to do. Go outside and play. Give them a shovel and a ball and say, have at it.
Yeah.
But don't just pluck them in front of the TV and say, okay, go ahead, you know, be bored all day.
Yeah, just so you can
and then
break, right?
complain about them being bored.
Exactly. What about with the kids at home? You know, housework piles up, more laundry, what have you. How can you get your kids involved in household chores?
Kids love to do extracurricular activities in the summertime too, and I don't always want to pay for that stuff. It's not always in my budget. And I don't always have time to do stuff because of all the extra housework that I have to do.
Sure.
So if you can reward your kids, pay your kids for doing the chores that you would have to do anyway, and then let them spend their own money on that extra stuff that they want to do if you're not willing to pay for it. It teaches them how to budget their money and how to not spend so frivolously as well.
Okay, so you're a fan of an allowance.
Hugely.
Okay, and
yes.
it helps you as a mom too.
Absolutely.
Now this one, when we were talking, getting ready for today, this sounded like a good idea to me. Planning kids' families' activities, kids and family activities for the whole entire summer. Do you disagree with that?
I do, and that's because it's not so much about scheduling, because if we're going to go to the amusement park, you have to plan that.
Right.
But don't plan yourself into misery.
Okay.
In other words, we're going to get up at 7 a.m., we're going to eat a healthy breakfast, and we're going to be out the door at 9, and we're going to stop at a farmer's market on the way and get lunch, and then that's the day that both your kids wake up with diarrhea and it's raining and the farmer's market's closed.
Right,
so
exactly.
Don't plan yourself into misery. Make plans to do things, but don't over-plan so that you plan for failure.
Okay, that's good advice. All right, and some people are saying, you know, my kids, this is inevitable, my kids always drive me nuts by the end of the summer. Is it too late to turn things around if you follow some of these tips?
Absolutely not. I mean, every day is a day to wake up and say, you know what, new rule, as of today, this is what we're going to do. And the other thing to do at the end of the summer, which is really cool, is to get them back into learning mode. Take a class with them. Do something with with your kids. If your kids are constantly telling you that they're bored and you're telling them to get up and out of the house from behind a screen, you know, that's really not the best way to manage your children. So find something that you can do together. Go to the pool together, take a class together, start learning and getting back into that mode together, and the rest of the summer will go a lot better.
Okay, Tara, great tips, and I know the tips continue, as I mentioned, on your website, TaraKennedyKline.com. Also, more information on your book on your website, too.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I wish I were on summer break now. My job doesn't agree with that. Thanks, Tara, and stay with us. We'll be right back after this.